Clarity fears are now causing a tremendous amount of turmoil today. I'm going to break it down with you. It is going to be something to watch closely, guys. Today is the day. Before we get started, I do want to thank our sponsor, and that is Tangem. This is where you guys can get into self-custody. If you are thinking about switching wallets, and I know a lot of you are watching the news out there, and you're thinking maybe now is the time to switch wallets. Well, Tangem is the spot for you. You guys, of course, can secure your crypto over there with their hardware wallets. Absolutely fantastic, great, and easy to use and set up. Of course, get the 3-card set. That'll help you out in terms of just being able to place these around different places and keep all of your assets secure. You get a little bit of a discount, not only from us, but also from Tangem over on their website just by clicking the link down below. All right, today I want to bring in none other than Mr. Tim Warren, who, if you guys do not know Tim, if you're not following him out on YouTube, go over to his YouTube channel right now and follow him, man. This is the place to do it. Become a subscriber, because I know he's got a really good trading community as well, which we'll talk a little bit about. So, Tim, how are you, man?
Doing good. I'm doing good. A lot of chaos in the markets, which,
no kidding.
You know, for investing, it's kind of messed up, but for trading, it's a lot of fun to trade. So that's kept me on my toes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the key. If you're going to see volatility, usually is a moneymaker for if you know how to play the volatility. That's the key. Right now. Listen, we've got a few scenarios playing out right now. One, of course, is what's going on with GOP holdouts. This is the area that we were thinking that we had secured. When I say we, meaning if you're pro crypto clarity, you think that the 5 GOP holdouts were kind of in the lock. There was a handful of them in there, you know. Of course, Josh Hawley was the one I was still kind of, obviously Rand Paul and Josh Hawley are there too, really.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're getting now many more, this actually puts us in a bad situation, because as we have talked about, we could lose more Republicans. And if that is the case, Tim, this is not looking good for clarity. And it is eerily silent in DC today. What do you think?
Here's what I do think, especially if you get the 10 Democrat votes, or to be 7. If 7 Democrats vote yes, but this doesn't pass because of Republicans, I think every single person who held their yes, especially on the Republican side, but even some of the Democrat side, I saw a post about this earlier and I agree with it. Especially if you're up for re-election in November, you might be in trouble. What you do not want to do is you do not want to give your opposing party grounds in this next election and potentially funds. We got to think about this. There was a study I heard this week. Not a single representative who's been sponsored by crypto PACs has lost their election. Wow. I wonder if those crypto PACs are sitting here with some money for this fall and deciding, hey, where do we want to spend our pennies going into midterms? This vote could have a big say in that.
Well, you look at, you know, what Patrick Witt was saying, and he retweeted the whole point of what David McIntosh said, which is getting into something very specific. And it was in reference to stop being uninformed shills. And he's talking to very specific senators. Kind of crazy that they're calling them out. And the fact that they are now starting to actually call out senators around this. So this is getting heated within the market for sure. And I think the whole point behind this is that today was the day. Friday, if we do not see this, at least the date of saying, hey, we're going to put it up for a vote, Monday was kind of the critical date that could be delayed now. And by 4 o'clock, if we don't see it by 4 today, I don't know that clarity gets in place for next week. And then, of course, we just don't know how it's going to turn from there. Other things I want to hit on, we talked about this on our show, and that was what was going on with CXMT. We did a whole video on this thing. We also did a whole video on SpaceX saying, don't touch it, guys. Let it run its course. Maybe look at it down the road. Hopefully everybody paid attention to that one. But if you weren't paying attention to CXMT, you should have been, because this one, of course, has become China's soaring star. And I don't think they're going to let this one bubble up like what SpaceX did and then fall back. Are you still looking at AI plays as it is today?
I do think as you're seeing AI pull back, you believe in it long term. So you're saying, where should I start nibbling? I would put it though in a similar spot to like when you get into a crypto bear market and you're aware you're in a bear market, you start to say, you know what, I don't know if the bottom is in, but I do want to start nibbling at lower prices. Because let's take Bitcoin, for example, you don't want to buy at 126,000, but all things considered, 90,000 when you adjust at 126 is not that bad. 80,000 is not that bad. 60,000, not that bad. Even if you don't know exactly where the bottom's going to be, smart money begins to nibble on big dips. And so I think it's irresponsible to not look at AI and say, hey, where am I watching right now to start the DCA back into it? Because I don't think AI is a dead space. I don't think it was a flash in the pan. It came and exploded. Now it's going away. But it's clearly in a correction. Semiconductors are pulling back pretty dramatically. AI stocks are pulling back pretty dramatically. But I do think it's about time to start looking at some good long-term DCAs in the AI space because you are working with such a large correction.
This was another news item I wanted to kind of do a rundown on. And that, of course, was this laughable thing right here by JP Morgan, Citi, and UBS saying that they successfully tested tokenized cross-border payments, settling transactions in an average of 80 seconds. So, wow, kudos for them.
Yeah.
Of quadrupling speed.
I was going to say is, they're late to the party. Listen, if the banks have not been invested in crypto and not seeing what crypto does, that 80 seconds is impressive compared to banks.
It's silly. Yeah, it's silly. I think this is just in general. And the problem you have with that is it's not going to get any better, I don't necessarily think. Yeah. Hey, what do you think about this right here? Bear market right now, it's 49% deep. Every prior bear market before, far below that, if you look at where it has been and where it is right now. Do you think there's something left here for Bitcoin in terms of a correction? Let's just assume that let's take two angles. Clarity doesn't pass, doesn't get through. Where do you feel the market retraces to after that? I am sure we're going to see a wick.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that until Bitcoin breaks above its bear market trend, I'm still predicting a new low coming. To me, interestingly, as the chart guy here, I'm going to go ahead and say I don't care if clarity passes or not. I see a window under both situations where Bitcoin can pull back. And I'll kind of explain my thinking there. But I'm still watching this yellow line right here around 53,000. This is a level I tagged months ago as the level to watch. And until I'm proved wrong, that is still my level I'm watching. Could we make it all the way down here towards 47? Maybe if we even extend it down into December, sure. But we're in a wedge at the moment, right? Bitcoin's in a long-term downtrend wedge. It's done this several bear markets. I'm not thinking like people calling for 40K or 30K. I'm not saying it's literally impossible. I'm just saying I think that we can stay within this wedge formation. And let's just say, Paul, let's say the Clarity Act passes. And let's be real here. What would happen is we would hear that it gets the cloture vote and it's pretty much on its way to passing in the Senate. Then it'll pass the House. Then it's going to Trump. What I see happening, if you go back to my chart here, I could see the Clarity Act popping to the upside and coming up to full resistance. And then what do we see happen in crypto frequently? Sell the news events where everyone will be so bullish because the Clarity Act is going to be a big bullish catalyst. I could easily see us come down with a little bit of market manipulation, hit that 53, hit the level the banks actually need. In fact, I'll give you one of the reasons why I think that we kind of need that pop up before that big move down. I'm not guaranteeing it's happening. I'm just saying it would make sense. It's because something that BlackRock said the other day, and they said that the over leveraged positions are running out. There's not a lot of over leveraged longs right now. So what better to create some over leveraged longs than some good news about the Clarity Act that pop us up, hit a key level of resistance, and now you get a new target for the big players to go down and get rid of them. And then retail, I'll just tell you this right now, Paul, you know it, I know it. If Clarity Act comes and it does like I'm saying, we reject and start to fall to new lows, the pessimism from retail investors will hit an all-time low. It'll be the lowest we've ever seen, which is the perfect catalyst for banks to be able to buy the dip with no competition. And then the bull market takes off, leaving retail behind.
Bingo. Yeah. Well, that may be, there's two catalysts that could happen here, regardless if Clarity does look past. And of course, we're looking at the odds of that right here on Polymarket, still dumping down to its lowest yet at 25%. And voters are finally starting to care about Trump's corruption, is what she's saying. Trump's response using the presidency to boost the family crypto business. If you guys know, you've been following us, but 55% of voters disapprove of his crypto earnings.
Listen, I'm one of them. Paul, I'm one of the people that disapproves.
Yeah.
But I put a tweet out about this last week, and this is just the idiocy of the United States government. It's this thing is like you're complaining that Donald Trump did all of this stuff illicitly with crypto, and we can have arguments about ethics. Like, yeah, sure, he was unethical with how he did some things, but he was 100% within the law.
The law, sure.
We need a Clarity Act to prevent Donald Trump or anybody else from doing what he did ever again.
Well, think about think about the concessions he's putting out there now. It would have essentially preempted it from happening.
Exactly.
So it was really our fault for not doing, and when I say our, meaning the voters and the representatives that they've put in office. Unfortunately, that's our own fault that we put people in office that don't understand this. This should have went to the Senate last August and got completely done. So this is always, it's always our government, Tim, going too slow because they're too big. Don't get me going on too big government, just too much. However, speaking of too big government, I got to play a clip for you. Now, this clip is Bernie Sanders. And I know a lot of you like Bernie out there, so that's okay. But this right here, guys, is simply elderly abuse. Take a look.
What is crypto and what are your concerns about crypto?
It's used for the regular public for gambling, and it's used for crime.
You're telling me there is no foundation of that in terms of crypto. It's simply, will it down? Will I make money? Nothing there?
Yeah, exactly. It's a meme in crypto called "number go up." That's basically all it's about.
Tell us if what I do know is, what do the defenders of crypto, how do they respond to that?
What is Iran using that money that they're getting from crypto? They're using it to buy drones, to buy bombs, to kill our soldiers. The stupid war that he started. It's just outrageous and traitorous, I would say, treasonous.
That is really extraordinary.
Yes.
One of the writers for one of your shows wrote this. He would say, no, people won't believe it, right?
All right, so another LARP out there kind of trying to pitch Bernie on where crypto really is. The good thing is Bernie was actually trying to find out. I think he's heard things now hey, crypto's like any other market. Bernie, it works up, it works down. This is not an intentional way to do the bad deeds of the world, which is the problem. This is just abuse. These people should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, but it further goes to prove what I just said. Again, this guy, and I don't even know the real actor's name. I just know he plays Captain Gordon in that Batman show. Again, with another example of our actors of America seem to be thinking they're thought leaders. He has a sign back there about stopping Donald Trump's illegal crypto activity. Here's the problem, Captain Gordon. Everything Trump has done up to this point has been 100% legal. Why? Because there's no law in the United States against it. Bring in get the Clarity Act passed, and all of a sudden he can't do anymore. But that's okay. When actors in Hollywood are making the points, we have a problem.
Yeah, well, exactly to the point you're mentioning there. Now you listen to that clip. This is former Barclays CEO. Take a look.
A number of the banks that have been investing will be big winners in this. And a number of the infrastructure firms, Circle is an example in stablecoin. I think Hyperliquid is a great example in blockchain, will also be winners.
All right, so now you have major bankers on CNBC actually saying banks are going to invest in this. They're already investing in this. They're going to be major winners on this. What is the issue here that you see that kind of polar opposite narrative out there basically picking on Senator Sanders, and then you have major mainstream financial news out here saying, no, this is the future and this is where it's going. Get ready.
Yeah, clearly one of them's right and one of them's wrong. But I'll tell you another concerted effort, because a lot of times you'll hear conflicting thoughts on the exact same show. Confuse the average retail investor as much as possible so that the wealthy and the elites get the head start on everybody else. Then when they're ready to sell, that's when we can just all come together and hold hands and sing kumbaya and talk about how great this asset class is.
Yeah.
But then we're just selling the tops to back to the people.
And take a look, just for instance, just look at what's going on with Robinhood. Okay. Here's Bernstein. They're talking with, is sticking with its $160 price target on Robinhood. Remember, Robinhood's trading right now around 80 bucks, could be slipping under 80 bucks soon.
Right.
When you look at this chart, going to the Robinhood chart and understanding the future of where they are, because remember, even within their most recent earnings call, they had not even mentioned Robinhood Chain to a certain extent of saying, hey, here's what's going on over here.
Yeah.
What do you think about Hood in terms of a potential stock play?
Yeah, Hood's one of my stock picks that I actually really do like for this upcoming bull market. Where I have at the moment, if you go to my screen here, we're at a crossroad right now with Hood.
Yep.
And that is we're sitting right on this support level. And this support level is a part of a rising channel. Traditionally, rising channels do eventually break down. And if we break right now, my target will be back down here between 64 to 60 bucks, give or take. I have a big green box obviously right there. But I'm not so fast to just say for certain that's going to happen. If we can mount some sort of bounce here and go back to the upside, all of a sudden I'm going to look for targets up towards 133, 140 area, back up towards resistance. In the bull market, you talk about 160. That report, was it 160 for end of year, or they were just saying that's a target for years to watch? Because that's an easy target to get to in 2027.
Yeah, no, I think they're targeting by like end of year was the focus.
Yeah,
that's a double of where it is now.
Yeah, that's an easy target, I think, for end of year.
So aggressive. If Robinhood continues to push in this direction, and if you look at the correlated digital asset to this, it's going to be Ethereum, just because of what's happening within the Robinhood chain. How would you go? Okay, so would you bet on Hood or would you bet on ETH? If you can only choose one of these right now, how would you chart ETH comparable to Hood? Because I mean, do you think ETH doubles by end of year, even if we're dealing with pressure from Clarity?
Yeah, so you're talking about a $3,700 Ethereum. I think it's doable. I'm not going to say that's not doable. I mean, we're talking about prices we were just at back here in January. So I don't think 36, 3700 is that ridiculous. I'll say from a chart perspective, I really like what Ethereum's doing right now. I'm waiting for confirmation of this move. But remember, I told you earlier, Bitcoin still pretty far behind the bear market trend line, right?
Yep.
The red line of the falling wedge pattern, it's still got a lot of way to go to get up to it. Ethereum is one of the coins, and there's multiple that has recently broken above it. But I don't ever just go with the first breakout. I need to see confirmation. I see a sign of strength. I need to see volume come in. You can see here on the grand scheme of things, we haven't had a volume push on Ethereum. So we could very easily fall back here and come back down towards 1400. But if we can get a volume push and spike up here and put in a higher high again, Tom Lee has told us since December the bottom was in. He's been wrong every single time, but he said it again the other day. And there's that old saying, broken clocks are right twice a day. If we can get this push on Ethereum, I think there's a chance that finally Tom Lee is right. Now, does that mean Ethereum won't have a pullback later this year when Bitcoin does? No, I think Bitcoin or Ethereum with this pop up could pop up closer to 2,200, pull back down to 1,700. But 1,700, of course, do quick math, is higher than 1,500, which is the current bottom. I like what Ethereum looks like right now. It's not out of the woods. I'm not ready to say that's it, bottom in, the way Tom Lee is right now. But I do think it is one good pump and a show of force to the upside away from saying, yeah, I think the bottom for Ethereum's in.
Well, there you go. Hey, listen, I have a couple of clips here that kind of go into something that's going on with Hood, because this is all correlated with ETH, I think. And one of them is an Easter egg that happened the other day with Vlad when they were doing their earnings call. Take a look at this.
What I wanted to do was just show you, give you a little tour, and we make it easy to add funds, deposit, and withdraw, and place trades. The other thing I'm very excited about is stock tokens. So here I'll show you what they look like. I should clarify, I like memes as well.
All right, so for you guys that know, CASHCAT absolutely went up, cratered. It's had this meme style approach. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but during that demo, you saw the most recent search right there, CASHCAT, right on Vlad's phone. So
yeah,
could it be something? Is there something coming for another meme token within Robinhood. What do you think?
There's always going to be room.
This would be another GameStop type level. So you also have to look at Robinhood in general. I mean, Robinhood is going to make money on the trade itself. So transaction volume is how they do it. This, of course, translates to stock price at some point because earnings numbers are going to just continue to skyrocket. I'll show you something here in a second on the Robinhood chart. But take a look at this clip because this is Multicoin Capital talking about Robinhood. Take a look.
What I think memes signify is legitimacy amongst a specific cohort of people. CASHCAT, they have won the respect of the people who are native to the space.
I even see crypto people on the timeline talking about how corporate Coinbase is.
There is something in the DNA of Robinhood as an organization that is more attuned to its customer base than I have seen for any product of its kind. Like if you'd asked me 4 months ago whether the metrics on Robinhood chain would look the way they look right now, I would have said there's no chance. Part of the reason you haven't seen anything publicly is because we've been looking for opportunities to add more to the position and potentially size it up. At 70, I would have loved to put out our thesis, but that would have impeded our ability to acquire the position. I think there will come a time to tell that story. That time just hasn't come just yet.
In hindsight, Facebook's move from 100 billion to $1 trillion may have been its easiest 10x because it had already reached scale.
I like where this is going.
As Robinhood, what will it take for Robinhood to surpass market caps of legacy financial institutions? And do you see AI supercharging your global domination plans?
Some board members in the audience too. I don't think a financial company has ever hit a $1 trillion market cap, but I think it can be done.
All right, so there you have it. I mean, Vlad kind of targeting. This thing could be big. It could be one of the stars, maybe ever.
It's never happened before because the world has always been run by banks. Yeah. But now that crypto exists, any financial entity that it can take some control of crypto or embraces crypto, take in inflation. A lot of things can't be done when the dollar actually has value. But now the dollar is losing value. I think a lot of companies are going to go over $1 trillion in value. For sure. I think Robinhood could be one of the first, though. I do think first.
All right, Tim, let's take a look at the Solana chart.
So Solana is one of these charts that actually got above its bear market trend line a couple of weeks ago, way back over here in the first week of July. Now, it has not had a full force push yet, so I'm not going to say it's impossible for it to come down and hit new lows. But one of the things I love about it, I know I got a lot of chaos going on, but you can see some of these lines have been relevant for resistance and everything else. Take a look at how the price has reacted. I can get rid of these ones. I can get rid of these lines, make it a little clearer. Take a look at how price has reacted since getting above the red line. We have now bounced on it 1, 2, 3 times. Right now, as we're watching it, Solana is deciding if it wants to turn bullish again on the daily chart and several others as we're running into a long-term trend of uptrending support right now. So you look at this, you look at Solana and you say, okay, pretty brutal bear market, just like the rest of the crypto space, despite the fact that fundamentally Solana continued to position itself for a fantastic run when the bullishness comes back. Now you see the sign of strength with the breakout, a sign of floor rising, right? So you have this concept of the ceiling hasn't been broken yet, but the floor keeps rising with Solana about where the key support is. I think Solana is in a great spot to say fundamentally, this is something that's going to rip to the upside. Price-wise, it has not had its mooning event just yet. It hasn't had its, oh my gosh, Solana is fantastic, that matches with the fundamentals. So that's why I'm a big believer in studying the charts, but also understanding the fundamentals. And when you can find a fundamentally strong project with a catalyst like tokenization and Clarity Act potentially coming soon, mixed with a minor sign of strength to give you some confirmation, but still a lot of weakness, that equals potential and opportunity to me that I don't want to miss out on.
All right, Tim, as promised, and we've talked about the lightning rounds before. If you're brand new to the show, we do these with Tim and a handful of other people that we trust out there. We're going to go ahead and start the lightning round today with Tim. The first one I have here, Tim, is Clarity is put up for a vote next week, yes or no?
Put me in the middle because, let's say yes, but I want to stretch it because technically it could drag into the 8th or 9th because they could decide to delay the recess. I think it is voted on in the next week and some change. Whether it gets voted on before the 8th or not, I'm not certain on yet.
All right. I'm going to go yes on this. I think they have too much to lose. Thune is going to shield the Republicans by not delaying the Senate recess.
I mean, depends on how things play out, but I think he's serious. I think he's met with Trump, and I think they're very serious about getting certain agenda points voted on. So now the question becomes, he pushes senators, hey, do you want to go on vacation earlier, or you want to stick around later by not playing ball? It all comes down to, do they get the votes done? If they don't, it extends. If they do get the votes done, all right, everyone can leave on the 8th.
Yeah. So yes?
Yeah, let's go yes.
All right. I'm going to stay in the camp with you. Let's go into this one right here. Clarity has double the odds of the SAVE Act passing.
I don't even know how to answer that question. I don't think about the SAVE Act that much. I just kind of stick to crypto. What's your answer? I
think Clarity definitely has better odds to pass.
I trust you then. I'll go in your camp. We'll go agree.
All right, there we go. After all the political lifting Coinbase does to pass Clarity, Hood ends up pumping harder than Coinbase. What do you think?
Agree. When I set up my beginner-friendly portfolio, we were looking at stocks, and I was down to one of those two, and I chose Hood over Coin. So I'm going to double down and say, yeah, I agree.
All right, well, let me ask you, if you are going to go to a centralized exchange, are you in Hood or are you in Coinbase?
Yeah, that's a good point. I do a lot of my stuff via Tubit now, but I have a Coinbase account. I have a Robinhood account, but Robinhood's not funded. Coinbase
Well, the problem is Robinhood's list of assets. They're still a little bit light.
That is the big problem.
Which ETH beta play pumps harder if Clarity passes next week? Do you think it'd be BMNR or Uniswap?
Oh, goodness. Gosh.
Come on, Tim. Come on. You got to go, bro.
BMNR just because it's newer. I think there's not a lot of faith in it, but I think if you get that good news, you can get a pop there.
All right. I'm going to go Uniswap.
I think both pop, but I'm going to go BMNR.
All right. I'll go Uniswap on this one.
Good.
Clarity fails. XRP collapses below $1 because this has been the defense line in the sand right now for XRP.
Yes, XRP will temporarily collapse for $1 before the SEC and the CFTC step in to
bails them out.
Yeah,
save the day. I agree with you. I think the SEC will get in and say, okay, all right, Clarity, these dummies in Washington, we're going to start making rules and we're going to let you do this and this.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, here we go. SEC is ready to unleash, to our point, several proposals the day after Clarity fails.
Yep. Likely. If there was an option for very likely, I would put very likely.
I'm totally with you there, bro. Winning over progressive Dems would have been easier than winning over the corporate Dems beholden to the banks. What do you think? You think that was a miscalculation?
Yes, I think winning over progressive Dems would be easier because the corporate Dems are just care about where the paycheck's coming from.
I agree with you. I think they made a mistake there on not going after the right ones. Citadel and the Leopold drama proves crypto is bored and lacks narrative right now.
Yep, 100%. It is boring and not a lot of retail staying around, but those who are can make money.
All right, so you got the BIP 110 civil war right now with Bitcoin. It ends in 8 days. What happens? Bitcoiners unite. Institutions will return and say, okay, everybody's playing nice now. Or institutions learns that the devs aren't equipped for the quantum threat and they start concerning themselves.
I think the institutions return. I think that the Bitcoin is going to fly a long term. I don't think anybody who really knows what they're doing is genuinely concerned about quantum. I think quantum was a whole FUD movement just to discourage investors to have an excuse to drop price down. We had a lot of time and a lot of resources to solve that problem before it's a real threat.
All right, here we go. Kevin Warsh will not hike rates for the entire remainder of his presidency, of Trump's presidency.
Oh, so now you're as you had said the rest of the year, I was ready to say it.
For the rest of the 2 years, he's not hiking rates.
I'm thinking through the dominoes of how things could go. I'll say agree because I think the recession fear was the end of 25 into 26.
Yeah.
I think we're in a good spot.
Okay, so I'm in between agree and disagree, but only because of this. If things get worse in Iran, that's my fence. That's the issue right now. If it gets worse in Iran, then it's going to cause so much pressure here in the U.S. I think supply chain starts and once you start seeing that, the inflation thing gets out of hand, and then there you go.
Unless they figure out a supply workaround.
Well, okay, let's see it. I haven't seen it yet. Let's see it.
No, but there's conversations about it.
Oil goes above $100 once more. We've seen this before. Yes.
Oil goes back above $100.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say: Donald Trump does not want it to go above $100. So
it would destroy the midterms if this goes to $100.
So I'm gonna go with no. I think Donald Trump almost always has more cards up his sleeve than he lets people know. But I won't say that's a strong no. I think I'm kind of leaning towards the middle on that no. But I feel like he has a trick up his sleeve.
What if I change the question and say oil goes above 100 before midterms?
Yeah, that's where I'll say no. I think he literally went back to war with them, and then we had such a fast spike. He went on a ceasefire, his own little ceasefire, to cool everything off. I'm
gonna be on the no as well, but reluctantly. I'm still concerned about what's going on in Iran.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go right there. All right, here we go. What will Anthropic AI expose or hack by year end? Blockchain or a ledger wallet?
Oh, wow.
Or any self-custody for that matter. What do you think?
It would, you know what? It would make sense to hack a ledger wallet, because that would be even more of a reason for institutions to push why you should custody your crypto with them instead of a cold wallet. So
you're doing you're thinking 3D chess stuff here now.
Yes.
Look for the bad guys to show the narrative ahead of everybody else, which is, listen, you can always trust one thing in the markets, Tim, and that's simple. It's corruption, unfortunately. All right, you guys know what to do. Make sure and like and subscribe, and hit this guy's channel over on YouTube. You can find him at Tim Warren Trades. It's the place to catch them all. Are you still in the process of doing lives with your member groups, or how do you do the member group program? What's that look like?
Yeah. So with our member group, we have live trading sessions daily between me and some other pro traders. We're in there a lot. We have a very active Discord.
Listen, guys, community is the way to build, especially in this business. And you know what to do. Make sure and drop some comments down below. Tim, thanks for coming in today. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Paul.
If you like this video, hit like and subscribe, drop a comment down below, and also join our free private member group. The link is in the description.